Yo, what's going down, everybody? It is straight out of Boston, here, aka the King of Boston. Today we're back with episode 1 of my new series. And if you guys read the title, I'll obviously be giving away. If you look at the thumbnail, we're going to be starting a new franchise. No, calm down. This is going to be a simulation franchise, much like my Red Sox one that I've live streamed before, or my Royals one that I did way back when on like Phaser Athletics, I believe it's called. And today we're doing it with probably my favorite team. This team are the Red Sox. The Oakland Athletics. Now, this is just kind of... I'm turning instant trades on. I always do that. Man, I love baseball. It's got to be my favorite sport, this or basketball, and I'm just so pumped for MLB 13 this show. I just got to get back into the swing of things, get back into the mood, and, man, what better way than to just do a quick kind of simulation franchise. We're going to try and build the A's into a title contender. Now, I know they're already a pretty good team, but on paper, they're not that good of a team. They also don't have too many top prospects. They also, obviously, with the whole Moneyball thing, do not have that much cap space to work with, so it'll be interesting to try and play some Moneyball, really, and I think that'll make it kind of interesting. This is, like I said, kind of a precursor. I will be doing a franchise or whatever. Look, Brad, he got traded. I will be doing a franchise in MLB 13 the show. It will not be with this team. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys just yet, but anyway, so these are rosters from August 26th, so pretty much post Adrian Gonzalez trade. And if you go down this team, you have some main potentials. Yoenis Cespedes, Brett Anderson, and Jared Parker are the guys that stand out, obviously. Bartol Colon's 38. That A potential doesn't really mean anything. After that, it gets kind of sour. Jamile Meeks is there. That's good. Obviously, didn't have a very good year in real life. Derek Norris. And then a couple guys in Michael Choice and AJ Cole. And after that, I think that's about it. Yeah, I do believe that's it. Addison Russell, I believe. Yeah, he's only like a B, so that's too bad. I love Addison Russell. I think he's really good. He's only like 19 too. He's 18 in this. So anyway, so basically, let's just end spring training. Like I said, this is going to be a complete simulation. Let me just, I like having all my messages on. So let's go through a few things first. Before I do any of my lineups or my pitching rotation or anything like that, I'm going to go through and try to make a few deals. Now, the guys that I'm going to be looking to trade for these in this first season, maybe Coco Crisp, get a 2-year deal. Solid player, be all around, a guy that I would not want to trade if I was really the Oakland A's. But on paper, we're trying to build a good team on paper. And with that, we might trade Brandon McCarthy. He's an expiring contract. Bartolo Colon is a guy we're definitely going to look to trade. Possibly Dallas. I don't know about Dallas Braden. We might see what we have in him. We have a lot of good young pitching, though. It passed McCarthy and Cologne, and then we have Tommy Malone, Dallas Braden, AJ Griffin, and a guy who I'm really high on in real life, Dan Straley, as well as Brad Peacock, who's recently traded, and then of course our lone A potential in terms of pitching prospects in AJ Cole. So I might look to do something like that. Our bullpen's pretty solid. The combination of Doolittle and Cook are so solid. We're going to need to try and build around them, but other than that, Grant Balfour could be a guy we look to trade. We'll see about that. Chris Carter's a guy who's traded in real life. We'll see. In terms of position players, I don't know. I'm probably look to trade Brandon Inge. That contract doesn't really. I know it's pretty cheap, but it's just not a favorable one in my opinion. Cliff Pennington, I believe, was traded in real life to the Diamondbacks. I'm not too sure on that though. I feel like that's wrong. Anyway, I think he was in the Chris Young deal though. So yeah, we'll see what we do. There's a lot of interesting characters on this team, and yeah, so I'm gonna cut it here, and I'll be back to you guys when I find some good trades. Alright, so I'm back. This is kind of an interesting deal. I'm looking at acquiring the 2 top pitching prospects in the Mets organization, Zach Wheeler and Matt Harvey. I'm giving up Grant Balfour. It's interesting because they don't want to give up Zach Wheeler, but apparently, something about Matt Harvey or the combination of them. I don't know what it is. Anyway, MLB's trade system is very flawed. But, this isn't really supposed to be too realistic. I'm not going after realism as much as I will be in my MLB 13 franchise. So we have a couple options here. Chris Carter makes this a deal for them, as well as Cliff Pennington and Steven Drew. And Seth Smith. I don't really know who I want to give up out of these guys. I'm thinking Seth Smith, because I would like to start Coco Crisp and Josh Reddick along with Yoenis Cespedes. Cliff Pennington and Steven Drew will, probably platoon there like they did in real life. Well, I think Drew got a boatload of the starts towards the end of the year because I think Pennington might have been hurt. I'm not too sure about that. And Carter is the guy that I want to hold on to for now. B potential, Brandon Moss, D potential, or C potential. So anyway, I think we're going to do the Seth Smith deal. As much as I like Seth Smith, it's hard for me to trade any of these guys, quite frankly, because Man, I love this team, and that 2012 team was just incredible. And I don't think there's ever been a team, or just I don't really know how to explain it. There's never been anything in sports that's compelled me as much as that 2012 Ace team. So hurts me to break up the team a little bit. Sorry, bye Balfour Rage, but we're gonna go through with this deal. So trade accepted, and I'll move on. Keep looking for trade pieces. We've got a few good pitchers. That's good. We can probably look to move on towards position players, but I always go after pitching first. I mean, if we combine Harvey and Wheeler with AJ Cole, who's right there, he's only 20, so he's a little bit raw. But we combine him with AJ Cole along with Jared Anderson and Jared Parker and possibly re-signing Brett Anderson in the near future, then we really look like we have a solid pitching staff for the future. So anyway, I'm going to cut it here, and I'll be back in a sec. Alright, so I'm back, and here's another deal that's very interesting because I don't know why the Rangers want to part with Mike Holt so easily. Mike Holt's a guy who, if you followed my Royals franchise, became an incredible player, incredible hitter. However, he did sadly back up the Royals. Mike Moustakas is a guy that I would love to go after, but he has a pretty high asking price. As you can see, just kind of going through deals here. I didn't really check him. I wish I did, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be hard to get. So moving on to the Rangers. Mike Holt, the guy they really want to part ways with, as well as, well, actually, they don't really want to part ways with this guy, but Jurickson Profar, who I believe is the #1 prospect in baseball for the 2013 season. So that's interesting. So I'm looking to give up Brandon McCarthy, 6'7", right-handed pitcher who did not have a big. He came up as a top prospect and struggled at the beginning of his career, but has kind of found himself these past 2 years with Oakland. He is then signed with Arizona. I blanked out for a sec. So it's interesting because this is another one of those deals when we throw in a C overall D potential Australian pitcher, I believe, Travis Blackley. 29 years old. These guys, absolutely no upside. I don't know what this is, but they clearly want him. I can also give up this guy, Ian Kroll, but I don't know. He's 20 years old, so he might be worth keeping on to. Maybe he can be a C overall someday with that C potential. So I'm going to give up Travis Blackley. I would love to get, I can get Leonis Martin out of it too, as a guy who the Rangers are always so willing to give up in, or at least on these rosters. If you guys are wondering, these are the OSFM 826 rosters. I mean, not a very good, guy in terms of hitting, but he's an A potential. There's no point in really not throwing him, I believe. Okay, I thought Gentry might have been A potential too. The other guy who I sometimes like to go after in this is Martin Perez, but he'll only be in these rosters, I forgot. So we'll take Old and Profar, which in itself are two great prospects. I believe I got Mike Holt's autograph, actually, so that's pretty neat. And we'll throw in Leonis Martin, and we'll do this deal. So, right out of the bat, we got some really nice blue chip prospects. I went after shortstops right after I went after pitching because they always say you're only as good as you are up the middle. So I got my 5 A potential starters, which is good. We can build from there. Went after, so we have Jamile Weeks at second base, Derek Norris at catcher. We've gone after our shortstop for the future in Jurickson Profar, and we have our center fielders in Yoenis Cespedes and Michael Choice. So, if the old saying that you're only as good as you are up the middle kind of plays to suit here, then we are pretty well off. We can just start kind of building around from there. So anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for trades I'm going to do in this episode. The next episode is going to be the MLB draft, as well as the, the trade deadline and stuff. So I'm going to look for a little bit more, look at some possible trades. We're also going to do one thing. We need to sign Mark Appel, who is a pitcher who was drafted, I believe, by the Pittsburgh Pirates and did not sign with them, and now is in the free agents for this roster. So sign him. Pretty easy steal, kind of cheap, but A potential. I got to do what I got to do. So 6 A potential starters now. That's really good. I don't think there's any other guys like that in this. I could be mistaken. I don't know. I vaguely remember someone like that. I don't know. Oh God. Anyway, so that's gonna be it for free agents, I do believe. And I'm gonna look at a couple more trades, but I might just be back to you without making one. Anyway, we'll see. And yeah, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back. This is gonna likely be my last trade of the day. Actually, second to last, because I think I have one more in mind. It'll be a small one, but anyway, we're looking to get our first baseman of the future, and we're looking at possibly giving up Chris Carter, who's a guy that I said I did want to keep originally, but I think I'm going to be looking to trade him. We're getting Brandon Belt out of this as an A potential, who can also play the outfield. He's 23 years old, so he's not that young. Yeah, Chris Carter's pretty much our best trade option for him. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we're gonna get Brandon Belt. We're also gonna get as a throw-in Gary Brown, who's a guy that not many people have heard of. He's kind of, I don't even know if he, I don't want to say this guy exists, but I've never heard of him before. But he's an A potential on these rosters. He's really, really fast. I believe, yeah, speed after a while really goes up. So, you know, it's another outfielder which we don't necessarily need with Leonis Martin, Michael Choice, Yoenis Cespedes, Josh Reddick, who's a guy I'll probably keep just because I love Josh Reddick so much. But it just gives us depth. It just gives us, you know, trade options later down the road. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're just going to do this deal. And Coco Crisp is a guy who's drawn a lot of trade interest. It seems like whenever I use him as throw-in to try and get a deal to work, he always, you know, gets the job done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep him because he does have a 2-year deal. So I'm going to try and trade him next year, mainly so I can play him instead of having to play some of my young guys like Brown or Choice and possibly ruin their development. So, yeah, that's my thought process behind that. And I'm going to look to make one other deal. I just want to get a closer. I like having Doolittle and Cook in those setup man roles. It just kind of, you know, keeps our bullpen with a good depth, because after Scribner, it really kind of falls off. It gets like Pedro Figueroa in them. So I'm going to try and get a closer, hopefully a guy who a team will be, you know, fine parting ways with. And, yeah, so we'll be right back, and hopefully I can find a closer. Okay, I know this looks a little bit weird, but yeah, we're getting Grant Balfour back. He's a guy in the last year of his contract. He isn't expiring. So we can either re-sign him at the end of the year or just let him walk. And we're only giving up C overall, C potential shortstop, 26-year-old Brandon Hicks. I was him or Yordi Cabrera, but I like Cabrera more because his B potential is only 21. So I could maybe be a solid trade chip in the future, possibly, or, you know, a starter if something happens to Profar, you know, whatever. If there's those like fractured skull, you know, retirement injuries. But anyway. So yeah, pretty good deal here. You know, Balfour's a guy who teams are always, you know, no matter what team he's on in these games, they're always so, you know, eager to get rid of him. I don't really know why. I mean, he's a pretty good closer. He's good for the A's last year. I'm just going through some other guys now. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna get Grant Balfour back, and that makes that what you call it, that Zach Wheeler Matt Harvey deal look pretty good. So anyway, this deal, and that's gonna be my last trade for the day. So we have a base right now. We have a solid base. We have 6 A potential starters, some good relievers for the future. I wish Cook's potential was a B. I feel like it should be, but whatever. That's besides the point. We have a decent closer. Then we have our catcher, Derek Norris, first baseman Brandon Belt, Jemiah Weeks, Mike Goltz, Jerson Profar, Leonis Martin, and then some outfielders in Gary Brown and Michael Choice, and obviously the big man Yoenis Cespedes. So you know, we have a solid base. I love Cespedes because his contract is so low. But, you know, we have our base for the future, hopefully, and obviously Josh Reddick. You know, not all these guys are going to be playing right away, but anyway, yeah, I like what we've done with this team. We're going to have to start at the lineups right now, so a lot of these guys, a lot of these lineups are going to look a lot different. So I'm going to go through this, and I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, so I'm back, and I have my lineup ready. So against righties, basically same thing, except different a little bit at the bottom just because of the no DH. Crisp and Weeks is the top of the order that I want, for now at least. Now, 2 very speedy guys, good contact hitters. Then we get into the heart of the lineup, which is Belt, Cespedes, and Reddick. Guys with a lot of power, especially against righties. Brandon Belt, although he's only a C overall, his hitting is pretty solid, especially against righties, so that'll be good. Same thing with Derek Norris. He's only a C overall, but I don't feel too afraid of putting him in the bigs just because he does have good hitting stats. And then it kind of drops off a little bit. Cliff Pennington and Steven Drew are both good contact hitters. And then Brandon Lynch really struggles against righties in terms of his stats or his attributes or whatever. So hopefully he won't be too bad at the end of the lineup. And we move on. Same thing basically here against no DHs. Now against lefties, same top of the order. And then same kind of heart, except I do put in Cliff Pennington instead of Steven Drew just because he has slightly higher contact rating. And then Johnny Gomes instead at DH. I believe instead of Steven Drew, because Cliff Pennington would DH before. Actually, I want to check that. Who's a better fielder? Oh, Pennington is. Okay, I'll switch that. Yeah, and then Johnny Gomes is very good against lefties, so we'll keep him in there. And then Cliff Pennington, once again, slightly higher contact than Steven Drew. And yeah, so lefties with no DH, pretty similar. You know, nothing much else to explain. I'm gonna get into my pitching rotation in a sec. Yeah, I'll be right back. Alright, before I go any further, I'm going to be making one signing. I'd like to get Joel Zumaya. I don't want him. Okay, I got him for 2 years. That's fine. Didn't want to give him a long-term deal. So he'll go in, and this is pretty much what our rotation is going to be. So Anderson, Parker, Cologne, Cologne, Malone, and Griffin, all guys that are already B, or actually Griffin's a C. But other than that, all guys who are B overalls already. That's good. Man, I love Tommy Malone. So that's good. And Griffin's only B potential, so if we stunt his development, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. And then I signed Joel Zamaya just to shore up this bullpen so that I don't have to use Evan Scribner, who's slightly less overall, I do believe. And yeah, that's pretty much our bullpen. Tyson Ross, we're using in a long relief / spot start type of role. You know, like I said, B potential, or to reiterate what I said about AJ Griffin, guys with B potential, I'm not too worried about stunting their development by putting them in the bigs too early. But I usually try to keep my top prospects out of the bigs till they're B overalls, or until they have good seasons in AAA. So if Harvey, Wheeler, Appel, or even Australian Peacock or AJ Cole, probably not AJ Cole, is a little bit raw right now. But, you know, if Wheeler, Appel, or Harvey... Am I saying that right? I think it's Appel. If Harvey, Wheeler, or Appel have good years, I'm going to not be trigger shy in calling them up. And other than that, Parker and Anderson are our two guys for the future. They're both B overall, so they're definitely ready to go. Anderson being our ace, of course. And Cologne. I should make sure he's second in our rotation. I didn't trade Cologne yet. He's a guy I'm going to have to look to trade. I'll probably wait till the trade deadline, though. You usually get better offers for guys like that towards the trade deadline. Same thing with Balfour, possibly. So anyway, that's what our roster is looking like. I'm just going to simulate one game to make sure that our 40-man set and all that good stuff. All right, we have 40 guys on our 40-man roster, so we're going to have to change that. Adam Rosales, bye-bye. Josh Donaldson, rated very lowly. Wow, bye-bye. Eric Sogard, same thing. And I think we'll do the same to Colin Cowgill because we have a lot of outfielders. I could have done it to Jim Miller, but whatever. Anyway, jeez, this guy's weird picture. Okay, I think other than that, we're good. Let's just 27 guys in our active roster, so I believe that comes down to yeah, that does come down to pitching. Because I think we have 5, 8, 11, 12 pitchers. No, it's not that bad. Oh, we have too many hitters. That's why we need to send down Leonis Martin and Gary Brown, possibly Mike Gold. I don't really like having him up right now, but anyway, we'll send you down to Double-A and Gary Brown down to Triple-A, I believe. Yeah, okay. So that leaves us with Old, Profar, Kataris, and Johnny Gomes. I really don't like having... Oh, man. I don't know. I really don't like having those guys up already. We have... We don't need Profar, that's for sure. We can send him down. Because we already have Pennington and Drew up. So I'd rather call up a guy... Is Brandon Moss? Yeah, we'll call up Brandon Moss. And then... Olt. What to do with Olt? Man, I just don't know what to do. Whatever. I guess maybe we'll keep him up and see how he does. He's a guy who usually, you know, he hits well. He's got good hitting stats, so I don't think he'll suffer too much. But if we can make a move, I would like to. I don't believe there are any good free agents that I could sign to possibly fill that gap. Just the reason I'm hesitant is because if they have bad years, their potential will go down, and I obviously don't want that. I've invested in Mike Holt as my future third baseman. I mean, I guess I could sign a guy like Casey Blake, but yeah, it seems kind of boring, quite frankly. As bad as that is to say. Manny Ramirez, man, what a guy. Oh, Brandon Allen, former Oakland A. This guy, I heard that guy has crazy power. Yep, anyway, okay, I don't really want this video to run on too long, so it's going to wrap it up for me. I believe that's going to be the last deal I make. I might just, man, alright, I'm gonna possibly look at one more deal for a third baseman, and if I can't, I'm sure, I probably won't make a deal, but if I can, I would like to, so I'll be right back. Alright, as much as I wanted to be, you know, kind of realistic, you know, this isn't supposed to be realistic, so I'm going to get Chipper Jones. He's going to start over Brandon Inge. He's a guy that the Braves obviously want to part ways with just because he's old and they're probably not going to re-sign him or whatever. He's just going to retire like he did in real life. So yeah, it just, you know, it allows me not to have to play my Colts. And yeah, so anyway, I'm sure I'm going to get probably hated in the comments for this, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, so we're going to send down my Colt after that. This is good. Now Olds can develop properly in AAA. Nice. And we'll put Chipper Jones in, and we're gonna have to move him up in the lineup. I'm thinking 5th, maybe 6th. I'll keep him at 6 probably. Yeah, I'm gonna keep him 6th because I do want my main guys to be, you know, up there in the lineup. Obviously, once again, Chipper. Although I think, nah, yeah, okay, there it is. Yep, and once again, put in Chipper. Okay, so that's gonna be our lineups, and that's pretty much it for me. So the next episode will be the draft or whatever. These are going to be coming out pretty frequently, maybe every other day or something like that. I want to get this done for MLB 13, obviously. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy, and so I'm out. Also, you know, I say get this done. I mean, you know, the end goal is probably going to be like a World Series championship, and at that point, I'll probably be done with the series or whatever. So hopefully, like 2 to 3 years. I usually do like 2 to 3 episodes a year, and yeah. So it's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy, and so I'm out. Peace.